What's going on, guys? Mr. Brick Squad back here with another video. Today we have yet another set from The Mandalorian. This one is from Season 3, and it features a very interesting scene, and this is the spider tank. So basically, what happens is in this scene, the Mandalorian, Djarin, he gets captured by this weird spider tank thing, and then I believe he has to be saved by Bo-Katan, who was actually alerted by Grogu. He does this little solo mission thing to go find Bo-Katan, knowing that, Bo-Katan can rescue Djarin. So very neat. There's a very specific reason why I got this set. It's because of Bo-Katan. I think this is the best variant of her. One of my favorite characters, by the way. So yeah, really awesome. And also, it is a really cool scene and emotionally touching. And also, one of the biggest reasons why I got this set was on sale on Amazon. I think this was like a May 4th, huge sale thing. I think I bought it for half off or something like that. A really ridiculously cheap price. So knew I couldn't say no to this. But anyway, guys, not a very common set that I see around. So just very excited to review it and give you guys my thoughts. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Alrighty, guys, just unboxed the spider tank set. Pretty cool box art and everything. Completely inaccurate because I think Bo-Katan just soloed this guy. But anyway, very cool. Looks like we have total 4 bags right here. And we have instruction booklet. Looks like we get Mandalorian with an actual face. Very cool. And a Darksaber. So very neat. This will be the first time I actually get to see Season 3 Mando. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the set. I'm sure it's going to be a really fun one. Alrighty, guys, just finished the build of the spider tank from The Mandalorian. Build took me about an hour and a half. It was a pretty fun build overall. If I had to rate overall, I'd give it a pretty solid 8.5 out of 10. Definitely the body was really fun to build. The legs are a little repetitive. I mean, it's basically the same thing so many times. So the legs were a little repetitive, but aside from that, it was great. There's no stickers or anything. It's a very solid, fun build. It kind of, bounces up and down. It's just a very fun, kind of clean build overall. There was a lot of Technic. So if you're not a fan of that, then maybe you won't like it too much, but I don't really mind too much. Yeah, I think it's a pretty cool build process. Again, hour and a half, so it's one of the longer builds for a set of this size, but yeah, good time for sure. Now, taking a look at the minifigure lineup here, we'll first start off on the left, and we have Grogu. Now, Grogu is just a very standard Grogu, nothing to talk about there. Then we have Djarin, the Mandalorian. This is actually my favorite variant of Djarin outside of the UCS version. You can see he has arm printing. He has that classic Beskar armor, but unlike the other sets, I think this Beskar armor has a really cool indent on it, so it just looks really nice and clean. He has a Darksaber, which is also super sick, his metal jetpack. So yeah, just a very cool Djarin looking figure. And he also actually has a face underneath, which is pretty sick. Not double-sided, but just a single face. So that's very neat for Djarin. Then you have clearly the best minifigure of the set, and kind of the reason why I got it in the first place is my girl Bo-Katan. So she has her, nice little smile there, and her little gear on top. And then she has red hair, that beautiful red hair. She has a gunmetal jetpack as well. She dual wields guns, which is super sick, and has that classic kind of Mandalorian armor. Then of course she has a Mandalorian helmet as well, which is super neat. Looks absolutely incredible. I love the color on that. And she even has a second face print on the back right here. This is a more stern look, which I guess you could use when she's fighting the actual spider tank, that kind of grimacing look. So yeah, very neat minifigure lineup overall. Definitely a huge hit. Now, switching over and taking a look at the kind of aesthetic of this build, looks pretty cool overall. I'm definitely a really big fan of the way this came together. It's something too out of the ordinary, I would say. It's just a very standard build, but it looks really cool. You got these 6, kind of spider legs right here. It's very a symmetrical build, I would say. You have these cool pipe pieces. You have a very cool head as well, and these kind of claws that actually do kind of move in and out, so you can adjust those and pose to your liking. The legs you can't really do much about. It's just kind of like that. I will say this is very strong under compression, so it's just a very neat kind of set that is very durable. You can pick it up and you can kind of see it deform and reform. So that's pretty neat from a structural perspective. You look at the face itself, that's probably the weakest part of the set. It doesn't look like amazing or anything. And you can see like as you go towards like more of the side and sort of the underside, you just see like a lot of the Technic exposed. It's not a fault of the set by any means. I mean, it's a small set, so you kind of do what you can. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Underside, not much to talk about. Again, there's a lot of like kind of brown around there. And you have these, kind of pieces to kind of smooth things out, I guess. But yeah, it's an all right looking set. It's not like the best or anything, but it gets the job done. Again, there are just small imperfections like these kind of Technic pieces, like sticking it out and everything. They never really did anything to cover that up. I think they definitely could have put in some extra stuff, but didn't want to. So yeah, I know it's pretty neat. I like some of the techniques that they use to form these things. But yeah, aesthetically, decent set, nothing special, but it gets the job done, I think. Now, looking at the one kind of play feature of the set, it's not really like a play set by any means, but it does have one sort of like play feature, I guess, which is you can open up this thing. You can actually put an entire minifigure in here. So I think you can kind of recapture the scene where, Djarin kind of gets stuck in there a little bit. I think you probably would be best just taking off the jetpack and everything and the helmet just to make sure he fits inside. That's kind of the way you would do it. And also the spider tank obviously has the capability to shoot. So you would just use these stud shooters right here. The underside is what kind of fires it. So I'm going to go ahead and probably shoot it up in the air and see what happens. That just sort of flew somewhere. I have no idea. But yeah, it's gone now. I can do it again. Yep, so that just flew and hit me. So nice. But yeah, it's a pretty cool little feature. Kind of the only play feature of this thing really, aside from, just being able to like pose various things. You can pose the claws as well. You can kind of retract them up and down like this, and then you can kind of move the head a little bit if you want. It's not too much like freedom of motion, to be honest. You really only like move it like 1 or 2 notches down, but it's neat. Yeah, it's neat, and yeah, pretty decent overall. Anyway, guys, if you can't already tell by now, I do enjoy this set. I don't think it's anything out of the ordinary, but I do think a lot of people hate on this set for absolutely no reason. If I had to rate it overall, I would give it a very solid 7.5 out of 10, maybe an 8, something like that, 7.5, 8. It's a very solid set. Looks cool. It's a pretty fun build. It has cool minifigures. It's just not really like anything out of the ordinary, which is I think the reason why people don't really care for it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the retail price is probably a little too high for this. But it is cool. It's a nice set. It has some good play features and everything. And again, minifigures themselves, I think, kind of make the set worth it. So it's a cool set. Definitely like not super bad or anything. Just, yeah, pretty good, pretty decent. I'd recommend it for sure if you're a Mandalorian fan. Anyway, guys, hope you really enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did like it, then please leave a like down below. If you enjoy the channel and everything that I, kind of upload, then please consider subscribing. Helps me out a ton. Please leave a comment down below, negative or positive. I read all the comments and I make sure to take the feedback into account. And if you, want to keep watching LEGO Star Wars videos, then please stay tuned to Mr. Brickswag for more. Peace out, guys.